We are approaching the public release of iOS 26, and the release candidate of Xcode 26 will likely arrive right after Apple's September event. This feels like the perfect time to explore Swift 6.2, the new version shipping with Xcode 26. It's a significant release, with many changes, especially around Swift concurrency. But there are also small updates outside of concurrency that can be easy to miss. In this video, we'll focus on those non-concurrency changes that are still worth noting. In Swift 6.2, we now have a new string interpolation syntax that lets us provide a default value when interpolating an optional. This makes it much easier to handle nil directly inside interpolations without extra boilerplate. What's nice is that this works with any optional type, not just string. For example, we can provide fallback text for integers, doubles, or any other optional value. Before Swift 6.2, the usual approach was to use the nil coalescing operator inside the interpolation. That worked, but only when both sides were the same type, so numbers had to be converted to strings first. The new syntax removes this limitation and results in cleaner, more readable code. Swift 6.2 also adds raw identifiers, which are backtick delimited identifiers that can include spaces or even consist entirely of digits. They are particularly useful for things like descriptive test function names, numeric enum cases that directly match values, and external or code-generated identifiers that don't follow Swift's usual naming rules. In my example, I'm using simple numeric case names to represent die faces. In earlier versions of Swift, that would have required adding underscores or letters in front of the digits, but now the numbers can be used directly. Another nice improvement in Swift 6.2 is that the sequence returned by enumerated now conforms to collection. This means we can use it in places where a collection is required, and some common operations become much more efficient. For example, calling drop first on an enumerated sequence is now a constant time operation, and reversed returns a reversed collection instead of allocating a new array. On top of that, we can now pass an enumerated sequence directly into SwiftUI views like list or for each without having to wrap it in an array first. Next up, there is a brand new collection type in Swift 6.2 called inline array. It's a specialized array that stores its elements directly in line, instead of creating a separate heap allocation with copy and write support. While Swift arrays are really versatile, they can be expensive and unnecessary in some situations. If we need to store an exact number of elements in a data structure that still allows dynamic indexing or iteration, inline array could be the right choice. We can initialize such an array with all the elements already in place, then iterate over it using indices, use random access to read elements by index, and also update elements at a specific index if necessary. We can't add or remove elements though, since its size is always fixed. If we need to initialize an inline array with placeholder elements that can be updated later, we still have to provide both the number of elements and their type upfront. Swift 6.2 lets us do this with a shorthand syntax. There are a few other noteworthy changes, such as integer generic parameters that enabled the implementation of inline arrays, as well as the new span type and the new non-escapable type constraint, which are mostly relevant for high-performance code or for use in highly constrained embedded environments. And that wraps up our look at the non-concurrency changes in Swift 6.2. I hope this helps you get ready for iOS 26 and Xcode 26. If you'd like to keep sharpening your Swift skills, check out my book, Swift Gems. It's a collection of concise, easily digestible tips and techniques to help experienced developers write cleaner and more efficient Swift code. You can find a link to it in the video description.